What is up, guys? Welcome to the Mixed Martial Idiots podcast. It is the superfan George Novo and Coach Will tonight. Tanner Dunphy is celebrating the lovely Lacey Fournier's birthday with her tonight, so we say happy birthday to Lacey. And you better take her somewhere nice, Tanner. I better not hear that you guys went to the Waffle House. You spent some money on that lady. That being said, we are going to recap UFC Fight Night, Taira versus Park. And then we are going to give you a little preview of a banger. I think it's going to be an absolute banger next week. UFC Fight Night, Dolidze versus Hernandez. We got Fluffy Hernandez versus Roman Dolidze, and that's going to be an absolute banger. But first, George Novo. Let's get into Taira versus Park. Started off with Piera Rodriguez and Ketlin Souza. What do you have to say about Piera Rodriguez and Ketlin Souza?
Man, I think that fight actually turned out a lot different than I thought it was going to. I thought that Ulrah was just going to run away with it. I really didn't think that it was going to go the other way. Excellent footwork, and what a chin. I mean, that girl ate some shots.
She sure did, man. And I think it surprised us both. Ketlin Souza was a plus 210 underdog, but I thought with that judo black belt, she was going to keep it where she wanted to be. And even when she was keeping it where she wanted to be, which is on the feet, Piera Rodriguez was just better. She just showed up. She was just better. Her all-around striking game was just better. She looked like the one that had more pop, and I would have never guessed that to be the case. I would have definitely given that to Ketlin Souza. So, it's just like any given Sunday, and you got Jamie Foxx out there playing quarterback. You might get yourself a dub. Next up, we got Rafael Estevam versus Felipe Boons. What'd you think about that one, George?
I'll be honest with you. I missed the first. I'd say the first couple fights on the prelim. I did not watch this one back, but I watched the other one because I was working Saturday.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
Well, it was one of those technical MMA fights, right? All around, these guys did a lot of the same stuff really well. They're kind of a mirror image with themselves. The boxing is kind of the same. They go to that power hand when they're under duress, and the calf kicks were both good. So these guys really were done a disservice by how fucking good the card came to be, right? Because all of us were like, this card's going to suck. It's going to be kind of a snooze fest. Maybe don't even waste your time on it. And holy shit, it was just like fight of the night contender after fight of the night contender leading up to a fight of the year contender. And these guys subsequently suffer from it because they put on a great mixed martial arts showcase, and they just kind of got overshadowed by all the ass whooping that happened later. Great fight by those two guys. Next, we had John Yanez stepping in last minute with Austin Bashi. Austin Bashi, a minus 1,000 favorite. So it wasn't a big surprise seeing him just lock John Yanez up like that and secure that rear naked choke. For me, being a jiu-jitsu guy, it was awesome to see a guy who can get to a position such as that backpack and not lose that shit. You know how much I hate that shit, George. In our group chat, I'm sure you can pull up the receipts of me just losing my shit off tequila and these terrible grappling exchanges between these people. So seeing Austin Bashi put the clamps on him and get a finish, that was refreshing for me. Being the super fan, what did you think about Austin Bashi's strangulation?
I've said this several times throughout the course of our short podcast, which is slowly becoming longer. But I appreciate it when someone is a grappler and or a jiu-jitsu or wrestling practitioner and is good at it and executes quickly. I don't want to see you spend 14 and a half minutes trying to get the fight to the ground. Then when you finally do, it's over and you win by fucking humping. This was not the case. Good job. Excellent execution. You ran through this guy, and you know what? Every single thing that he did to transition to get that position and lock it in was fucking textbook. It wasn't sloppy at all, and that's beautiful. Kind of like whenever Merab fights, he has a game plan, he executes it to perfection.
Absolutely. I love that you appreciate Marab so much, dude, because when we're in the gym and it comes to like sparring, you want to play with people like Marab does with the wrestling. Like he gets them down and then lets them up, starts working them, gets them down. And that gets your students really tired. And then you are fucking tired. Like even if you're a coach, like my situation, it could be a situation where like my skill level and my size makes it like an unfair advantage to my students. So what I have to do is I have to put a high output of like technique and get them to the floor, but maybe don't smush them, right? So it's constant up and down, up and down, up and down. But boy, that gets you so fucking tired. And to see Marab Dwavishvili do that, and he's got like injuries and he spars the day of the fight and shit, to see him do that is so incredible. A guy who is not Marab Dwavishvili but thinks he is at middleweight is Nick Klein. George, good God. What do we say about having one skill? You need to immerse yourself in something else, big guy, because we knew Nick Klein that you were going to come out there and have that singlet on and sniff the crotch until you wasted your load on it, right? Andre Puliev, veteran. He weathered the storm. Boy, was eating some big shots against the fence early in the clinch there. Nick Klein looked like he had a clear path to victory and might have got him out of there, but that, man, he just got so fucking tired. He got so tired that Puliev pushed him off, then kicked him in the body and punched him in the nose, and the fight was over. That's embarrassing. If I'm your coach, we are addressing a lot of shit, and one of them is possibly a drop to welterweight, because if you can't use the fact that you don't cut a lot of weight at middleweight to your advantage and beat these guys and that cardio be there, a guy who does that to perfection, we're going to see him next weekend in the main event. Fluffy Hernandez. Fluffy Hernandez does not cut a ton of weight to get to 85, but he uses that to his advantage because he doesn't have a bunch of lactic acid built up in all these big for show muscles, right? He can go 25, 30 minutes straight, no breaks, because he doesn't have that tax on his cardio system. If Nick Klein can't find those benefits and being the smaller guy at middleweight, he needs to go down. He needs to do something else, because Andre Puliev at middleweight is not the cream of the crop, and you're going to run into somebody who's going to do you way fucking worse than Andre Puliev. George Novo, what do you think about Nick Booty Hole Klein?
I think that fight was very much within Klein's grasp in the first round if he would have been able to execute and not, just go all out, balls to the wall, and then not be able to finish. I'm not taking any away from Andre. He's a really good fighter, but I think that I stepped in during this fight right whenever he cracked Klein. And you were like, I was like, damn, did you see that shot? And I hadn't watched the first round. And you'd said, yeah, his striking isn't really that impressive. This guy is just tired and isn't moving. Like he's just walking into the buzzsaw. Right. So that being said, you can't take away the fact that someone punches and kicks hard. Good job, Andre. But if he met someone that has, footwork, can mix the takedowns in with the striking, is well-rounded, I don't think that you get a win like that.
No. Nick Klein he's very one-dimensional, man. And it's like, once you get to those...
why it's called mixed martial arts?
Right. Right. We're going to see another guy, the Gustafson guy. He fights like just straight up grappling. But the thing about him is his grappling is so fucking good. Just like RDR. You're not going to spend too much time with RDR clinched up, right? Because you're going to find a path to losing. He's going to strangle you or rip your arm off. Gustafson, you're not going to be in that dirty boxing situation with him. Alexandre Gustafson. You're not going to be in that dirty boxing range with him because you're going to get beat the fuck up. Yeah, that's fine to be a one-trick pony if you're like that. Nick Klein thinks that. I mean, shit. Look at Bryce Mitchell. Everybody in the world knows he's going to take you down. He's taking down Dagestanis and sending them to Arkansas. That's how fucking good he is at wrestling. But you know how he can get them down, George? Because he can punch them in the mouth, too. If they're not worried about you hitting them in the mouth, then that sprawl is going to be awfully fucking good. They're going to have a whizzer. They're going to sell out, and you're not going to be able to get them down because they're going to be able to strangle you and punch you in the head, right? Nick Klein, you need to change some shit up, or you need to go to a different weight class, my dude. Next, we have Rodolfo Vieira. And guys, Andre Pulyev set on a chain of events. It was just banger after banger after banger after banger after that fight. Rodolfo Vieira and Tresean Gore, this was another one of those situations where you're looking at it and you're like, damn, these boys are throwing down. They may get some extra cash. They got overshadowed later on the card as well, but these guys went the fuck at it. Rodolfo Vieira impressed me so much with the not selling out to grapple, and he was the one in the pocket landing the heat. Tresean looked fucking shook that Rodolfo Vieira was standing there and choosing to be in those violent exchanges with them. And Rodolfo is going to be Rodolfo. He's just a fucking tank of a man. Love to see Rodolfo Vieira win. Tresean Gore, I've never been super impressed with him. His record falls to 6-4. He's going to get fed to the wolves, if not cut. Yeah, what did you think, George?
Yeah, Tresean was a huge favorite going into this fight, too. And I had him on a slip, and then I also had Rodolfo on another one when I alternated. So I just, with him being that much of a favorite, I mean, it wasn't like crazy jump off the paper. I just expected a little bit more. It seems like Tresean got cracked a couple times, and when his eyes started swelling up, it kind of got his attention. He was like, oh, damn. And I just kind of feel like he got on his bicycle and never really got that instinct to re-engage, was just on defense the whole fight because of that. You can't do that, man. It's a really hard thing to say for me as a spectator not being in there, but you cannot show weakness. How many times do we hear the greats talk about fights after the fact that they were hurt in a fight and they just played it off, kept fighting? Look at Rich Franklin. Knocked Chuck out with the hand that he broke whenever he checked Chuck's head kick.
Yeah.
I mean.
For sure, man. You know what happened to all these jiu-jitsu guys? A featherweight by the name of Diego Lopez came into the UFC. And he said, guys, it's like this. And he steps toe-to-toe with everyone and throws fucking nukes with them until it goes to the floor. Then he strangles them. And now all of these jiu-jitsu guys are like, light bulb. Rainier Day Ritter is standing in the pocket trading knees and fucking elbows. The jiu-jitsu guys figured it out, guys. They're going to be Charles Oliveira now. They're going to step in your kitchen and fuck you. I don't care if you clip me, land in my guard. And Rodolfo Vieira was like doing that to Tresean Gore. If that's the new Rodolfo Vieira, maybe he figures out a little bit more head movement would be cool. That's a scary guy at middleweight. Next up, Rinya Nakamura, Nathan Fletcher. Dude, this fucking sucks for Nathan Fletcher. Getting kicked in that liver, it's just like a flush knockout, okay? Nothing you can do. There's nothing you can fucking do, George. If you take that shot to that liver clean, it doesn't matter if you're fresh, the fight just started, or if you're seasoned and conditioned and you're ready, or you've been taking shots throughout the fight and you're prepared for it. Doesn't matter. If that liver gets cracked, your nervous system shuts down. You saw him reach for it, and that's the end of the fight. I mean, the refs know that. They're all educated in that. And it's sad because the refs will stop it off that liver shot. But just last week, we saw a dude have to take 400 of them to the head for Herzog to stop it. Got dropped 7 times, but I digress. Anyway, Nathan Fletcher catches that liver kick, and the crowd knows, the announcers know. Michael Bisping saying the fight's over. He just curls into a ball. Bro, that's an unfortunate thing. Rinya might have got him out of there anyway, but I was really pulling for Nathan Fletcher. I didn't think Nakamura wanted to get into like guard exchanges with him, and it showed. Rinya's right hand was money right off the bat too, so not to shit on him. He did super well. Obviously, his professional record is 10-1. Great precision, great accuracy, and ultimately great shot placement and a high fight IQ. This kid's going to be something to watch coming up. George, did you like Rinya Nakamura?
Yeah, he said post-fight that he saw that he keeps his hand low. and he thought that would be open, that body shot, maybe not necessarily the liver shot in particular, but he, saw it watching tape. That's kind of what it takes to be 10-1, stuff like that. Man, he hit that. It was like body kick meet liver, and dude, Nathan hit the ground faster than my drunk uncle at a wedding. That was womp womp.
Man, it fucking sucks, bro. That's a bad shot.
It was, man, that was a good fight.
Yes. Then the chain just, because if you have a slow card, right, and it starts coming together, Vieira Gore, kind of a banger. Still, maybe not the best fight you've ever seen in your life. Then you have Nakamura delivering this liver kick. We got a stoppage. Okay, all right. And the next fight wasn't a stoppage, but if you weren't glued to the screen the whole time, you're crazy. Danny Silva and Kevin Vallejos. Danny Silva, coached by Cub Swanson, is the perfect fit. Cub Swanson just needs to work on getting Vallejos going faster. And I think he's going to be a force to reckon with. The man needs to move his fucking head a little bit more. Cub Swanson, mirror image in the striking with the weird hands down, long stuff, talking shit. Kevin Vallejos, apparently if you're from Argentina, you're just a bad motherfucker. Another guy proved that or reinforced that later on in the card. We'll get to that. I know George can't wait for that. But, yeah, these guys started. This is definitely fight of the night. I said it. As soon as this fight was over, I was like, that's fight of the night. It's going to take something fucking incredible to top that shit. And boom, they start delivering right off the rip. George, were you home in time to catch Kevin Vallejos whoop Danny Silva's ass?
Oh, yes. His pressure is relentless. His striking pressure is the same as Merab's wrestling pressure. It's crazy. Just, who is that guy? God bless it. We just watched him a few cards ago. I think he's a Brazilian guy. He has really skinny legs. He wore like the white like compression, almost looking like trunks. But he was constantly walking that guy down. The guy could never get started because he was in his face the whole time. Like it's maddening whenever somebody won't go away. God bless it. I'll have to look. Remember.
He got dropped by the guy in the first round, correct?
Yeah.
And then just walked him down the rest of the fight. I know who you're talking about. But, yeah, man. Danny Silva turned the tables on the pressure there in the third round, and it looked great. If it was a 5-round fight, he might have pulled off some Diaz brothers shit and got Kevin Vallejos out of there.
Vinicius Oliveira.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I could see the similarities there. Do you think Danny Silva lost any stock in this fight? Because I just think it took him too long to get going, and once he got in there, that boxing was starting to show.
Bro, if that guy could move his head and not take so much damage, because clearly he could take a punch. If you could take about 60% less damage than you're taking in fights like this and go the distance, you're gonna get people on the back end because you're gonna outlast them. You're gonna burn them up. There's a lot of guys that have raw knockout power, but they only have 3 or 4 that they could throw before that gas tank shot. Like, look at Derek Lewis. He won't. You know what I mean? He's smart. It's just. I just feel like it was a chess match in this, and Kevin was like, "I'm not gonna make one move. I'm not gonna move my pawn to your rook. I'm just gonna move them all constantly."
Yeah, it's like the Diaz brothers approach, man. I was super impressed with Danny not committing to power while he was trying to do that to try to catch up. I'll equate it to like football, right? When a team is down 2 touchdowns, you'll have one type of team who maybe stays committed to a methodical drive and just needs to get their 7 points, right? And then try to play defense and play the long game with it. Or you'll have a team that will chuck that bitch deep, thus catching up quick or putting themselves in a bigger hole, right? Power is the same thing in a fight. If I'm behind and I start chucking that hard power in there trying to catch up, well, I could either score a couple of touchdowns real quick and clip his chin a few times to get myself right back in the game, or I could fucking whiff real big and throw a couple of picks, and now I'm down 3 or 4 touchdowns, right? And I'm way behind, right? That's exactly what he could have done, and I was impressed that that's not what he did. I tell guys in the gym, power is God-given, right? You can work on your timing and speed and get yourself to a point where you can maybe land with some more pop and zap, right? But it's either given to you or it's not given to you. And if you have it, you just need to let God do his work when it lands, right? And you just need to work on technique. Just trust that when it touches this person, my clean technique will land and do the damage it needs to do. It looks like Danny Martinez had that thought going, trying to catch up, and it was just too little too late for him. Super fun. But, dude, the Argentinians throw fucking head kicks into the 15th minute. I mean, Vallejos looks like a baby version of Ribovic, who fought later in the card, and those guys, fuck, if they're homies, they're got to be twins or related somewhere down the line. Next, we called this last week. It's called getting fucking magnied. All right. You can run in there with all the hype and everybody's worried about you, but if you don't pass the Neil Magny test, I don't fucking believe in you. And Capoeira dos Santos definitely did not. He hurt Neil Magny. I'll give you that. He had Neil Magny in a bad way in the first round, but so did Mike Malott. So did a lot of young prospects who are now moving on to be successful even after fighting Neil Magny, because they learned that Neil Magny lesson the hard way. Don't hunt what you can't kill. If you can't kill this man, you should not play with your fucking food, because as soon as you show a chink in your armor, Neil Magny's going to go get that win. He is an OG of the game. Were you impressed? You had money on Neil Magny, right? You made some money on the old man?
Yeah, I did. I was really, like, that first round, I had me kind of worried, but once Neil got up, I believe, I can't remember if he secured the takedown in the first round or the second round, but he was able to get back up, and, you know, he did something that most people don't do, and they commented about him being a vet. I'm pretty sure it was Dominic Cruz, or it may even been Bisping. But he said, now look, he was down the whole first half of that round, but what did he do? He exploded back up, pushed him against the fence, and started striking. Started doing damage, started throwing jabs. He got that jab popping like Orville Redenbacher, man. It was just like inside the microwave. I was like, man, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Clean, you know, wasn't trying to load up and throw the shot and burn up his tank, you know, because what happens? What happens if you're going against a guy with takedowns and you throw that hook and you go all the way back to Texas and throw to New York and miss? What's happening? You're leaning forward and your hips exposed, and here I am. Now we're on the ground. So that stuff from Neil, really enjoyed it. Zaleski, man, your defense needs to get a little bit tighter. It's loose like the shirts I like. Can't have that in the octagon. Thank you. Next.
Man, 38 years old out there gassing out, throwing nukes on a guy, and Neil Magny looks like a head instructor at a CrossFit gym, man. Like, oh,
yeah.
You don't look at that guy and you say, that guy's going to knock me the fuck out. Me being a martial artist, being around martial arts for as long as I have, and jiu-jitsu especially, you look at that guy and you're like, fuck, I'm probably going to have to kill that guy. Like, the wiry dudes that are built like that, like, shout out Dan Davey, jiu-jitsu kid that came up, OG Rhinos guy that showed me how to pass out real fast in a Darce, like a bunch of times. And for some fucking reason, he continues to do that every time I see him. So shout out Revoke. Fuck you, Dan Davey. Yeah, Neil Magny looks like that guy. Next, the ladies kept it going with Carol Rosa and Nora Cornell. What happened to Carol Rosa? She got tatted up and became a fucking striker. It's like she got herself a How to Be Jessica Rose Clark instructional and applied that to Nora Cornell's face. What a fight. And her grappling was better than Nora's as well. Ladies either wilt under the pressure or find a way out of there sometimes when they're under the beating that Carol Rosa was given, and Nora stayed in it for the entirety of it, man. I thought it was a good fight. What did you think, George?
I did not expect Rosa to be such a bully and be so chinny. Eventually, she took it to the ground, and they commented and said, if I were her, this isn't the girl I want to stand with as a Muay Thai fighter. I'd utilize my jiu-jitsu black belt and get it to the ground. And she did, and executed a lot of ground and pound, a lot of control, and sealed that fight away. Nora, man, tough tougher than nails. I mean, my God, she ate so many shots. They both did. Look at Carol's face. I mean, this wasn't one-way traffic. This was a fight. But yeah, very, very impressive. I did not think we were kind of hoping that the underdog Nora would win in this one, but not the case. But good fight for her, and man, if she could fight like that consistently, there's some girls that got their hands full in that division with her.
Absolutely, man. She's a savvy vet, dude, and it looks like she's got the power thing down now.
Well, I mean, look, Nora has what? At that point, she would have had 11 fights to Carol's 25.
Right. But Carol Rosa, her calling card has never been the crack. You know what I mean? Sure, volume and good technique, yes, but never the crack. She had Nora standing on her toes a couple times when she hit her. That shit was awesome to watch. Then we had, continuing the theme, this is probably the third fight out of these few fights in a row here that we were like, all right, now this is the fight of the night. Two people got their noses punched off last night. One was Elvis Brenner. One was Mateusz Rambetsky. That's the next fight, which ended up, in my opinion, did they end up giving the next fight the fight of the night? The co-main ended up being the fight of the night? Actually, I don't know. They deserved to have like 7 guys win bonuses last night. But Esteban Ribovic showed out like the Argentinians do. Elvis Brenner, to his credit, I thought he was going to get knocked out because he has a tendency to leave his chin way up in the air, and Esteban Ribovic can put your head into the third row. Elvis Brenner had his moments where the boxing came through. He definitely was trying to, this is one of those times, rare, that I pick against Shoot the Box. I love Shoot the Box, and I'm sorry, Diego Lima. I know I broke your trust with this one, but I feel like since I picked the right guy, you could give me a little bit of grace there. But Elvis Brenner made a good showing of himself in Shoot the Box like those guys do. But Esteban Ribovic, man, you can't get him down. You can't stand in the pocket with him. And he's going to try to kick your fucking head off 15 minutes into the fight, George. 1, what did you think of this fight? 2, who do you want standing across from Esteban Ribovic in his next fight? And I have a good thought after you tell me who.
Going back to what you originally asked, there were only 2 fight of the night bonuses awarded. He gave 2 fight of the night, and it was to Duncan and to Esteban, those 2 fights. There was no submission of the night. There was no knockout of the night bonus. None of that.
Oh, shit.
So,
Uncle Dana was stingy, boy, because he should have paid. Oh, man. Anyway, George, fill us in as I be salty about Dana White for a minute.
God, he's in lightweight? What is that, 155?
155.
Didn't Max just fight at 155?
Oh, don't do that. He's on the come up. We can't put Ribovic back down. He's not beating Max.
Oh, man.
I was thinking Rafael Fiziev.
Okay. Because Fiziev is tougher than he looks. Fiziev is like, I'm not saying he doesn't look weak, but I'm saying his stature compared to other fighters in that division makes you think that
he's fought at featherweight. He's fought at featherweight. The only reason I say Fiziev is because to me they're the same fucking guy. Like if you put them both in the center of the octagon, you're gonna see a lot of the same shit flying back and forth, and it's gonna be so fun.
Fiziev is a little stocky dude, built like Mateusz is in the next one. I was so impressed in the next fight.
But take us away, George. Go right into it.
Dude, this next fight was a bloody, bloody brawl. These guys beat the living hell out of each other, and Chris was really no worse for wear physically from the first 2 rounds. In the third round, Mateusz just started landing it on him because he gassed out and couldn't, move anymore, trying to put this dude away. Nose completely smashed. Eye completely, nasty. Like Josh Koscheck closed. It was bad.
Mark Hominick hematoma on the top of his fucking head.
Yeah, I can't believe the ref didn't stop it. They just looked at it. It looks good. He's not going to die. Get back in there and fight. Both of them. Chris Duncan, I really think, though, almost bit off more than he could chew. He talked into this fight that I'm not afraid of anyone. I'm dangerous, just like my nickname. And I was like, I don't know, dude. You're about to go in there with a human battering ram. And, dude, that guy, his arms are so stocky. It's like pistons whenever he punches. It's crazy. I would not want to walk into a bar and talk shit to any one of these given two dudes at any night. Great fight, and I feel bad that the next fight that they didn't actually come out there and squeegee and mop the octagon because that was gross.
But this is how hard Rambetsky punches. Chris Duncan landed the step-in elbow, which put the hematoma on his forehead. At the same time, Mateusz landed a check right hook, and it dropped Duncan.
Yeah.
On the back foot, and you just ate a shot. That's pop, dude. And Scottish fans, I know. Paul Craig, tall, handsome, funny. He's not your guy. Chris Duncan's your fucking guy. Follow Chris Duncan. That dude, he can walk through a wood chipper and fight a man. You know what? Oh, God. I could go on and on about this guy right now because the things he did to stay striking are things you love to see. When Mateusz shot, he went Gilly. Then he reshot and he went Darce. And then Mateusz said, oh, got to get the fuck up or I'm going to get strangled. That's a credit to Mike Brown, that ATT Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program they have. And he spent the majority of this camp in the camp with Dustin Poirier getting ready for Max Holloway. So he was his right-handed look, right? He was the orthodox look for Dustin Poirier against Max Holloway. So, man, those kicks. Let's talk about those kicks. I mean, Chris Duncan. Let's just go on the rest of the time talking about how badass Chris Duncan. He fired the body kicks to keep his hands. He fired the head kick after it was set up. Dude, sky's the limit for Chris Duncan. I can't wait to see who they give him next, and I'm just super impressed with him. Tatsuro Taira. Oh, go ahead.
Another thing I noticed, and I can't remember exactly if it was in this Chris Duncan fight or if it was in the Magny fight, but somebody shot for a takedown, sprawled and fought it off, and then used the other person's body to help get them up, like while they were in the headlock. I've never seen that before. It was akin to like my big ass when I'm on the ground. I like find a bucket or something.
That was
use it to like lift me up.
Esteban Ribovic, and it was a wizard. He had a wizard, and he was on top of Elvis Brenner. So when Brenner bridged to get up, he said, oh, there's my hips. Goodbye. Dude, it was a lot of masterful takedown defense that we saw last night. It was fun.
Oh, and now the main event.
Tatsuro Taira. Well, Hyun Sung Park needs some help in some takedown defense. He was the only one that was not good at it. Tatsuro Taira, though, man, he is a virtuoso. Now, we're going to say all this awesome stuff about what he did. He got the back control to get him down. The weird way he goes right to the body lock and then starts chaining together submission attempts. Great. But we all watched what Alexandre Pantoja did to him, right? Did you watch that fight?
Mm-hmm.
He ate his fucking face off.
Yeah, it was at your house.
Yeah, so it's like, great job, and you are the man, bud, but where the fuck does anyone go at 125 pounds, George? I mean, great fight. Submitted him 1 minute into the second round. The first round was one-way traffic. Park never really got going, yada, yada, yada. Typical Tatsuro Taira fight. Shout out for Park taking it on late notice, all that, not taking anything away from him. But you got to look at the top of the mountain at 125 when somebody finishes a guy and you go, oh, shit, nobody's beating that guy. So it's like they're going to round robin the top 4 or 5 guys for how long? I mean, unless Joshua Van can go starch Alexandre Pantoja, and we love Joshua Van here on the Mixed Martial Idiots podcast. And it's documented. Go watch the episodes. We talk him up. But we also know who the fuck Alexandre Pantoja is. George Novo.
That is
who do you
that
put
is
with
that
Ira?
is
and where does 25 go, bro? What do we do?
that is not a good matchup at all for Joshua Van, and it's simply because of experience. Even if, he does nothing but practice, rear naked choke defense, practice jujitsu, practice anti-grappling. There is no way that he can accumulate the knowledge and skill set that man has in this short amount of time between that and the fight. Now, a couple years, because they said what, Van just started training 4 or 5 years ago, and he's already in a title shot. Like, that's insanity. So if that kid has that work ethic and gets the kind of coaches around him that can teach you the holes in the game that you have, then the sky's the limit for him. But currently, right now in that division, I don't know. That's such a tough, because hasn't he beat everyone repeatedly that's in the top 3?
Yeah, bud. He's beaten Royval twice or 3 times. He's beaten Brandon Moreno 3 times. He's beaten Steve Erceg twice. And he's beaten Kai Kara-France twice. So if Joshua Van doesn't come out and starch him, you got to give him Merab, right? You got to. What the fuck else do you do? If anybody, this is what drives me crazy. Islam Makhachev had the right to go to 70, and we hum-hauled and dicked around for that, and we had to give Ilya the right to move up because he knocked out the 2 greatest featherweights that ever were. Fine, okay. Even before that, Pantoja had a better record, right? And Islam, even before he got up there and beat everybody, Pantoja had the better record on paper, more defenses. He's arguably better than Mighty Mouse right now. And if Prime Henry Cejudo was fighting, he wouldn't beat Pantoja. The power in the hands, the boxing. And what's he going to do? Fucking shoot on him and wrestle him? Great. What about, you got it to the floor. Now you're dead.
Well, the same scenario that I just talked about. What about Manel Kape? He fought him to a decision how many years ago? 4?
Yeah.
Has he improved his game enough to the point that he's a threat?
Yes, he was on fire. He was on fire, and he had that fight with who was it? Erceg? Royval. He was just supposed to fight Royval, and he pulled out of that fight. Manel Kape, you don't know after a layoff who's he going to get. You're going to get that tentative guy who's not going to pull the trigger on a grappler. If that's the guy you get, Pantoja finishes him. Or do you get that guy with beautiful footwork and he fights behind his jab and everything that he touches you with that comes from that right side is just death? So I don't believe that with his current schedule, I don't know what the fuck Manel Kape's doing. He's injured. He can't train. So no, I don't think Manel Kape's the answer. I think if it's not Joshua Van, then we let him go to 35. Because what the fuck else do we have for him? He deserves it. If he wants to do it, let's let him do it. And we recycle 125 because he's Thanos. He has all the Infinity Stones. So, that being said, next week, aside from that main event, Delete Anthony Hernandez, which I am through the moon about, we have a few fights. Let's go through these real quick. We got Gabriela Fernandez versus Julija Stoliarenko. Now, Stoliarenko, striker, Lithuanian girl, big power, 11-9. She'll stand in the pocket with you and trade, which sometimes that obviously come to her downfall. She's been knocked out 4 times. She wants to club you and sub you. Then you have Gabriela Fernandez on the other side. 3 knockout wins in her career, 3 submission wins in her career. She's training out of MMA Masters in Brazil, so she's going to have all those great training partners. I think it's a very lopsided uphill battle for Stoliarenko. DraftKings confirms it and puts Fernandez at a minus 450 favorite. George, are you sprinkling any money on Stoliarenko and praying for an underdog, or are we just going to keep her out of all of our parlays? Maybe we throw a knockout on Fernandez. What are you doing, Dr. Parlay?
Julija is going to get the round robin treatment on a couple unders on this card, but she's not just getting it a straight money line bet at all. I learned my lesson. I don't fuck with the women fighters. It's too unpredictable, with a few exceptions, obviously.
Right.
Now this fight, I think that Stoliarenko is going to be hunting for an armbar like it's her life's mission.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think Fernandez is going to dance away, man, and hit her up like it's a pinata at a kid's party. I think she's going to give her the old Nick Swartzen. Is it broken? New high score? Is that bad? Dance Dance Revolution? I don't think she's going to be able to set down on her and get her. I think she's going to be too evasive.
Man, I think that the only way for Stoliarenko to win is to do the Randy Couture versus James Toney and run out glove touch, ankle pick, and pray to God it works. And then have the best 5 minutes of top game you've ever had in jiu-jitsu, and you just get her out of there.
Next we that choke is hilarious. You give up? Hell no, I ain't quit. And then he was sleeping.
He didn't tap, dude. I'll give him that. Next could be a quiet banger. Okay, we got Uros Medic and we have Gilbert Urbina. Gilbert Urbina is the welterweight Tanner Dunphy. If he had a professional lab to train in and could do it every single day, if you pull up his picture, it looks like Tanner Dunphy when he's cut weight for like Fuji or something. Versus, ironically, me with no tattoos. Uros Medic, he has bombs in his hands. His grappling is very much anti-jiu-jitsu, right? He can get you to the floor, don't get me wrong, but it's normally in a pinch. If he starts trading with submission guys, he's 2-2. He can sub you. He's easily subbed if you get him going too far down the line exchanging, okay? His 2 submission wins were club and subs. He has 8 knockout wins to his name. He fights out of King's MMA. Gilbert Urbina, BMF Ranch. He's down there with Cowboy and those dudes. So he's sharing the steroids with Cowboy, and he knows how to throw head kicks. George Novo, who you got? Urbina with the head kick or Uros Medic via mauling?
Uros Medic, by his fighter profile and picture, looks like a homicidal dude release, so I'm going with him.
Oh, facts are facts. Priscilla Cachoeira versus Jocelyn Edwards. We saw Jocelyn Edwards in Missouri, in Kansas City, and I told you, bro. I fucking told you. I told everybody around us, she gonna get her out of there, and she got that girl out of there. She can do it all right? She can strike with you. Her guard is very good. She's one of those long type jiu-jitsu players when it hits the floor, right? She has good triangles, good arm bars. She even gets into a little bit of the leg lock games. I've seen her throw her single leg X, shout out Marcelo Garcia, and hit a little tripod sweep. Michelle Cachoeira, her jiu-jitsu, not as good as Jocelyn Edwards, but her boxing and her chin. I think her nickname is Zombie Girl, right? Priscilla Cachoeira. She could take a hell of a shot. I think the game plan here is to fight behind Jocelyn. Jocelyn fight behind her jab, wear Cachoeira down a little bit, get her to the floor, and we might see some tricky submission from Mount, I think. I think she's going to get Cachoeira down when she's tired, and we're going to see an arm bar, maybe an arm triangle. George Novo, Zombie Girl or Jocelyn Edwards?
I'm going to go with Jocelyn Edwards. I think that she's going to be able to slip and rip Priscilla trying to throw bombs.
Yeah, dude, she winds up. Priscilla Cachoeira, you know, a lot of those people with the big power, you see it coming from a mile away. Next, we have Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. That was the easy one. I did not study. Thank you to his parents for making that easy. Kazama, he likes to stand in the pocket too, but much to his detriment, he has 3 knockout wins, 3 knockout losses. He has 6 submission wins to his credit. Elijah Smith, banger, dude. Comes out of Victory MMA, throws absolute hammers, has crisp boxing, can stay off the canvas, has 1 submission victory to his credit, and 4 knockout wins. He is 8-1 in his career. DraftKings has him at a minus 650 favorite. I'm smelling an underdog here, man. I think Toshiomi Kazama comes out and puts a complete MMA game on Elijah Smith. He's fighting to keep his job. And these guys that came out of this rise to glory, they have long amateur careers over there in Japan. When they turn professional, it's going to be for their life. Like, this is their life. It's not them trying, okay? This is not their summer gig. This is his life's work. I think he comes out there, man, and puts it on Smith in the grappling quick just to get Smith tired and weathered. And later on in the fight, it's going to be good underdog money to go Toshiomi Kazama via finish in the third round. George Novo, am I crazy? What are you doing for this fight?
I just think Elijah has more upside.
You're not wrong.
He's 6 years the younger. He is a little bit taller than him, and he has 3 inches in reach on him.
Well, I mean, yeah, that all comes into play, man. But I don't know. This is gambling, what I'm talking about. So if somebody had a gun to my head, I got to go Smith, but my money is going to go on Kazama. I feel like he's going to do something cool for me. Next up,
he's number 2 on the round robin.
Another one of these chances for some sneaky dog money. Julius Walker, -700 favorite, 6-1 in his professional MMA career against Rafael Siqueira. Siqueira is 11-2 in his professional career, plus 450 underdog. He is 34 years old. It's a Southpaw versus Orthodox matchup. George Novo, everything. It's just like the Elijah Smith matchup in the last fight we were talking about. If you got a gun to my head, I'm probably going Julius Walker because of the dynamic ability. His footwork is electric. He can be all over the cage, all in a foul swoop, and catch you with the counter, no problem. But you got the tough old vet, the tank, 34 years old, same size as him, much more experience, and he's going to be out there swinging for the fences. I'm going to gamble on Rafael, but my picks are going to have Julius Walker. What do you think about this fight?
I think Rafael's got knockout power, and I think Walker's lights are going to go out in this fight. I think Walker's going to charge in there like he's auditioning for Braveheart, but Rafael's going to send him to Narnia with the right hand. Dude hits like a freight train.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. This card is littered with them. This is another one. Now, I'm not as high on this one, right, as I was the previous two, but Eric Anders, he just got his jiu-jitsu black belt. He knows how to win fights. He's a savvy veteran in the game. Has big power. He's been in there with everyone against Christian Leroy Duncan. Duncan's supposed to be this prodigy out of England. He gets tired in fights, but he is very dynamic. He can knock you out with either hand. He gives you Michael Venom Page vibes. His ground game, not that good. I would expect Eric Anders' coach, where is he out of? Last time I knew, I thought he was with Saif Saud. No, he's with the MMA Lab. He took out Chris Weidman, Jamie Pickett, and those guys are like big-time grapplers, and he had his moments where he was out grappling them, Eric Anders. And Christian Leroy Duncan had kind of, a hit-or-miss fight with Andre Puliev. He lost to Cyborg a decision. I just don't trust Leroy Duncan yet, and Eric Anders is a guy that battles back from a lot of things. So, dare I go 3 underdogs in a row, but here I am going, ya boy, Eric Anders. George Novo?
Man, I feel like if Anders gets impatient and tries to charge in, that Duncan can play Matador, man, and knock him out with a counter. But I think Eric's got a more well-rounded game, and I think that, like you said, he could catch Duncan, probably with a sub or a decision. Dude's hard to put away.
For sure, man. He got his leg ripped off by Khalil Roundtree so much he had to have blood transfusions after the fight, and he wasn't going anywhere. He was still trying to get a hold of Khalil up until the final bell. Next, this one I'm going to go with the favorite, and Miles Johnson. The matchmakers made it hard on us this week, bud. It's going to be either somebody makes a lot of money or there's no money to be made with these lines. You got John Matsumoto at -330, this favorite, and Miles Johns plus 260 as the dog. Miles Johns could shut your fucking lights off with one shot. Same thing as these previous 4 fights. I mean, like I said, these odds makers know what they're doing. John Matsumoto has more tools, though. He could get you down and sub you. He could knock your lights out with any limb. I feel strongly with the favorite in this fight, John Matsumoto. Not that Miles Johns can't be in it. What do you think, George?
Man, this is another one. I think I'm gonna go Matsumoto.
Yeah, bud, it's a safe pick, but dude, the Americans with our boxing in the pocket, and that rocky chin. I don't want to jinx that boy, but we got those rocky chins. We bite down on that mouthpiece and go for it. This next fight, Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod, the prospect killer, versus Andre Touchy-Feely. Andre Feely has been in a rough patch. He caught fire for a few fights. He was knocking dudes out. He did beat Cub Swanson via split decision, and he lost to Milquizel Acosta via the weirdest guillotine I'd ever seen. He put himself deep into the guillotine when he was out. I don't know what was going on, if he got cracked before that. He got smoked by Dan Ige in a fight that was a short notice fight. Dan Ige showed up and put his lights out, cashed a check, and bought Dominic's Charger from Gone in 60 Seconds with the bonus money. Andre Feely, he's got big power. He's long and rangy. He's big for the weight class, and he can grapple his ass off when he shows up. When he shows up, bud, I pick him against most of the grapplers, even in that division. Christian Rodriguez, he weathers the storm well, but I don't think he's going to be able to handle the damage that Feely's going to put on him. I'm not going to be a homer and go all dogs, so I'm going to go Christian Rodriguez via decision, via footwork. The only thing that Feely can do to get going to have to put damage on him in the dirty boxing. He's going to have to make it ugly and make Christian Rodriguez bleed. That's what I got for that fight. What do you got, George Novo?
Yeah, I think Feely's going to get touched by Christian. Yeah.
You think so? You think? I don't know that C-Rod has fight-ending power is why I hesitate to pick him by finish, but you could be right. Feely's chin has been sus, and he's going up in age, and that weight cut might be wearing on him because he's such a big dude.
Speaking of sus, I am not picking Lucinda again. Angela Hill's going to mollywop her.
Dude.
That girl's striking is so good.
What do you think is going to be? Yasmin Lucindo, if she shows up, she mauls Angela Hill, but Angela Hill's another one of those. She's like I hate to make this comparison because I'm going to get roasted for it, but we're not famous enough for me to get in trouble, so I'm going to say it now. She's the Angela Hill of that women's division, right? Or she's the Neil Magny of that women's division. If you show up and you fucking overlook her, you're going to get beat the brakes out of, but if you do your homework and you can cut her off and beat her to the punch, you can beat her. And now, does Yasmin Lucindo make the smart game plan and go out there and walk her down correctly, trap her in the corner, beat her up, maybe put her on her head? I don't know, George. But Angela Hill is 40 and Yasmin is 23. I know Angela Hill, like I said, is the Neil Magny of that women's division, so cardio's not going to be sus. It's going to be on point, but she does get in a lot of brawls and bangers, and that starts to wear on people after time, and I think she might catch a heater from Yasmin Lucindo, and we might start talking about Angela Hill maybe not fighting anymore.
That's fair.
All right. This one, I don't know. I'm picking Steve Erceg because, motherfucker, he should do it. He should fucking do it, right? Like, damn it. He should do it. But that chin has gotten fucking in the way of a lot of shit, right? He's like the Crimson Chin, but in reverse. If anybody touches it, he goes to sleep. Ode Osborne, he could touch it and put him to sleep, right? Now, do we have faith in Ode Osborne being able to do that? He KO'd a guy. I don't even know who the hell he was in a goulet in his last fight. But before that, he lost 3 fights in a row. And I think that the UFC is giving him Steve Erceg so Steve Erceg could get back on track, right? We know he's not going to get fast-tracked to the title, even with the finish, because he lost his 2 title chances and he got slumped by Kai Kara France, and we saw what Kai did with Pantoja. Not much.
Or didn't do,
right? Couldn't pull the trigger. So I'm going Steve Urseg here, probably by finish. Wouldn't be surprised if O'Day caught him with some kind of shit in the pocket and put him down because that's the chin that Steve has. What do you think?
Your reasoning's solid, and that was the same deduction I came to whenever I looked at this fight. Was that, or what I also deduced, was that Steve's probably going to win because they handpicked this guy for him, and he needs to win. And you know, there's a little bit more upside with Steve than there is Odie as far as matchmaking. He's still a recognized name. Are people going to buy him pints everywhere he goes and talk about the wars he had? No, but they're going to be like, oh shit, you got to fight Steve. That guy's legit. So, yeah, I'm going to take that one.
Man. Yep. I think Steve will do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm crying in my hands at like the third round or like the second round. Next, we have a certified banger. But I think it's going to be a showcase for one guy. I think
Fluffy.
Yeah, I think Fluffy's going to come out there and he's going to put the fucking pace on him that Dolidze has been known to wilt to. You know, you got Roman Dolidze. He broke Kevin Holland's rib in an exchange. He won a unanimous decision against Anthony Smith, and he turned it into like a sloppy slugfest, which gives me no confidence for him in this fight with Fluffy. And then he won a decision with Marvin Vettori, who's got 1 foot out the door anyway. I think Marvin Vettori is going to take a long, hard look at not fighting anymore, maybe going to the PFL, trying to cash one of their big purses and retiring. He has a majority decision loss to Nasruddin Imavov and a unanimous decision loss to Marvin Vettori, who we just talked about, I feel like has a foot out the door. And the way that he lost those fights was heavy grappling. I know a guy that's got way better grappling than both those cats, and his name is Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Hernandez is coming off a unanimous decision win on Brendan Allen. It was one-way traffic. He beat up Michel Pereira, who is a physical freak. Roman Dolidze is a lot of things, but he's at least equally the freak that Michel Pereira is, right? Michel Pereira is an absolute fucking unit. Roman Kopylov submitted him. Edmund Shabaznian knocked him out. Marc-Andre Barrial submitted him. It goes on. Josh Frimm, UD. Rodolfo Vieira submitted him. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez has 8 submission wins, 3 knockouts, and he's 6 years younger than Roman Dolidze, and his cardio is better than 99% of the people in 185 or above. And I would say probably better than 90% of the 170 guys, George. His cardio is fucking unmatched. I don't think Roman Dolidze is going to be able to keep up with him. I think Roman's going to try to keep him away, which is weird. Normally people are trying to keep Roman Dolidze away from them. So it's going to make it, super awkward in the game plan for Dolidze, right? Because when you're the hammer, it's easier to game plan, right? Me, go forward, throw bombs, grab man's leg, throw him on head, right? Well, when you're like me, work with jab, throw leg kick, don't let man grab me. You're not so good at that, right? It just flips it on its head. That puts him at a disadvantage right away. So Fluffy's going to come in there. As long as he can keep that chin tucked and he's good at wearing shots anyway, I think he's going to maul Roman Dolidze. And I think he should be in that title contention, man. I think maybe we give Fluffy finishes Roman Dolidze and we go RDR and Anthony Hernandez for a title eliminator as it plays out right now at middleweight. What do you think, George?
Oh man, that's a hell of a scenario, and I'm here for that. I guess to wrap it up, that card, this card is has potential to be crazier than a Vegas bachelor party, man. You've got prospects like Lucindo and Rodriguez ready to shine. You've got vets like Feely and Hill vying for relevance. And you got a main event that's pure dynamite. That's a clash of power and pace right there. And Ursig is a grappler's wet dream, man. Don't sleep on the early prelims either, like Cerquera and Walker, which could end in a blink and you might miss it. I think there's going to be a knockout of the night in the Dolidze fight. that's going to be a bonus. And I think Steve Erceg is going to get submission bonus of the night. I think he's going to rip Homeboy's arm off.
Very likely. Well, George Novo, if you don't have anything else, I got one little thing before we get out of here.
Yeah, one thing. JJ commented as well on Steve Erceg, and it's hilarious because it's true. He says, I hate him. That guy either knocks the guy out or wins, but you touch him with a pillow and he folds.
That is true. Yeah, he's the reverse Crimson Chin.
Yes.
Which is ironic because that bitch is way pointy and out there. Yeah, last thing, we're going to wrap up here, guys. Over the weekend, we had a going away open mat for Rhinos Gym's own Sarah Swanlin. Just an absolute pleasure to coach. She's, 5'1", 130 pounds, comes in and doesn't make excuses in grappling and gets beat up for the whole hour, doesn't make excuses in striking and fights the middleweights, the lightweight men, me. She's like, I've never had a session where she didn't try to attack me for the entirety of the hour, right? She'll go fight someone and then try to get an excuse to get around with me. She is one of the first coaches, Tanner Dunphy and Justin Gibson and I ever started coaching as kickboxing coaches. And, man, she's headed to California to be an aerospace rocket engineer for a big company. So she's really successful in her adult life. She's going to continue training, and we just want to wish her the best, all the love to her. Be looking out for Sarah Swanlin because I know she's not done with the game. And go and follow her socials, guys. Go and seek her out. Look up her fights on YouTube. She had a great title fight for Midwest Kickboxing with Danielle from Mitten Muay Thai. And sorry, I can't think of your name right now. I'm trying not to get emotional saying this about Sarah, but go look her up, guys. She's just an incredible athlete, incredible person, and I've just been thankful to spend the last 3-4 years coaching and training with and even learning from Sarah Swanlin. So that's all I got for tonight, guys. Tune in next Sunday, Mixed Martial Idiots Podcast. We'll be recapping the ass whooping that Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is going to put on Roman Dolidze. Knock on wood. I'm not trying to screw you, Fluffy. Yeah. See you guys then.